Hey everyone, it's Scott with Harper Health AZ. I'm going to show you guys how to do a vegan stir fry. So first thing you will need for this is going to be tofu. The one I'm making today is going to be able to feed about 4 to 6 people. I'm making it this big so I have leftovers throughout the week to enjoy. So first thing, I like to use the extra firm or firm tofu. These guys we will first cut up in half and put them on paper towels to soak up the moisture. Alright, so we got a piece of tofu here. And remember, tofu, it's just soybeans. Now with our piece of tofu here, we are just going to cut down the middle here. And then separate it on the paper towel. So it's going to soak up the moisture. Then add another paper towel to the top to get more of the moisture drawn out. You can also take this out of the package the night before, leave it in the fridge to dry it out overnight. This way it'll make it a lot easier to cook. Now I like to flip them over to get both sides drawn out more. And now you can also throw paper towels on these, put them down, put paper towels on top, and then put something heavy on top like another plate. And that way you're able to draw out more of the moisture while you're doing everything else. Alright, now that we got these ones cut up here, we're gonna slide down long ways on them. Then once you got cut there, you can do longer pieces or cutting in half, or you can cut it into thirds, which I kind of like because you're able to let it cook more. And now you have a bunch of tofu cubes here. Then we're going to do the same thing with this one. And this one I did into fours to get a little bit smaller cubes in there, but they're also still pretty long because this one was a little bit of a thicker piece there. And using 2 packages of tofu in here. Like I said, I'm cooking this to feed 4 to 6 people here, but it's only me and my wife right now, so it's mainly just so we have something throughout the work week to enjoy. Alright, and now that we got our tofu all cut up into cubes here, we are going to be adding some liquid aminos. This is just a soy sauce alternative, and the reason I like this one is because it just contains vegetable protein from soybeans and water. It doesn't add any more salt into it or food colorings or anything, so it's very simple and it tastes amazing. So what I'm going to do now is just go over all the tofu cubes here to get some soy sauce on them before we cook them up with the coconut oil. Now I do this because the tofu has no flavor to it, so this one really brings out an amazing flavor in it, especially with the coconut oil. Remember, when you're cooking with tofu, you want to add a seasoning to it or else it tastes very bland. Now I'm going to add coconut oil to my pot. I use a pot because with the coconut oil, it likes to splatter all over the place. This does a good job of containing it down to a smaller one. I set the temperature for the pot to be a little under medium heat just to warm everything up there. And I found the best way for you to test the temperature is using a chopstick, just one of them. And you can put the end in there to see if some bubbles kind of come out. If it's just slightly coming out, you're at the perfect temperature. If it's not at all, you need to turn the temperature up more. And if it's boiling like crazy, turn the temperature down. But if it just has this nice consistent flow of bubbles, you're at the right temperature. And now we are going to add some of the tofu cubes to it. I'm only doing about one of the little sections at a time so I can make sure to flip it over. And then of course remember this is going to be very hot, so be careful when you're putting in your tofu. One thing to note when frying up the tofu, if you add that liquid aminos to it, it really makes it a lot crispier. Once you've added the tofu in there, just throw that extra bit of the soy sauce, liquid aminos in there, and you will really get them crispy a lot faster. Now while the tofu cubes are being cooked, you can start dicing up all the vegetables that we are going to be throwing in here. So what we'll be adding to this today is going to be half an onion, a green pepper, a bunch of bok choy for it, 3 cloves of garlic, more liquid aminos for that soy sauce, and we'll be cooking it in vegetable broth. We'll be adding in plenty of spinach also to it, and also 2 cans of bean sprouts, and then garlic salt in there. Now when I'm cutting the onion up for this vegan stir fry, I like to cut it into a little bit bigger chunks, just more that you're able to taste in there. And now again with the green pepper, I'm going to cut it up into bigger chunks. And some of these you don't even need to cut up, you can just pick apart. Gave the bok choy a rinse off here, and now I'm going to cut this one also into bigger chunks. Now this is a large bok choy. You can of course get one that is smaller, and I think those ones usually are around this size for it. So you can just cut these ones easily in half or in thirds for yours. And now I'm dicing up our 3 garlic cloves. Now I'm gonna add a nice handful of spinach. Cut up the spinach now, and so we have our green peppers, onions, garlic, bok choy, and spinach. So this can be really good in there. And then of course we're gonna be cooking with vegetable broth. And then we will add in the garlic salt and the liquid aminos for that soy sauce, along with our bean sprouts. Once you've gotten some of the tofu cooked, you can just scoop it right out of there, and you will want to put it on a plate with a paper towel. And now that we got these ones started in drying off here, we are going to go ahead and add more tofu. And for the wok, I do a little bit under the medium heat to get it warmed up there. Throw in about half a cup to a cup of vegetable broth. Get some soy sauce in there. Now adding all of our vegetables to it. And now that I got all of our vegetables in there, you can check to see if you got ones that are a little too big and break those up a little bit more. But now cooking this, of course the bok choy and the spinach are going to get a lot smaller. As it warms up, it's going to wilt. And now I'm going to add about another cup of the vegetable broth across the top of it. Now we will add 2 cans of bean sprouts. I drained these so we don't have as much liquid going in there. If you guys are enjoying this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're working our way to that 100 subscribers. With the bean sprouts added, I like doing soy sauce, the liquid aminos across the top to get it in there to give those a little bit more flavor. And now I'm gonna add garlic salt in there. This one is completely optional, up to how you prefer yours. Alright, and now we got our 2 bowls of vegan stir fry there. What I do is I add the tofu on top and save the rest for later. Now this is just because I made so much, we have a lot of extra, and if you put the tofu in here it gets nice and soggy again, but if you keep it in its own place and then add it when you add all the rest of the stir fry stuff to it, it makes it nice and easy. And then nice big chunks of vegetables in there, and the tofu tastes great just with the soy sauce on there. So that is the vegan stir fry. Now this recipe was for about 4 to 6 people. I would say it's leaning a little bit more towards 4, but you can just add in more onion, more bok choy in there, more spinach, and another can of bean sprouts, and you guys will be all set. Give it a try. Again, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Now that I got this mound of vegetables all cut up here,